Hey, my scrappy friends. I am finally sitting down to scrapbook once again, but I have been in super plan mode. I have been just printing, and so right now I'm working in my travel album and my week in a life project from 2023, so that hopefully we don't carry that on to 2024, since a lot of people are doing that, I think, next week. I'm not going to do week in a life until I think it's like the 24th-ish. I can't exactly remember. About the same time that we did it last week. I kind of have to look at my schedule right now, because right now we have tons of baseball, and I don't want every night to be baseball on a week where we just have an excessive amount of baseball. That's just not gonna be a fun week. So I'm picking like an average week that would most indicatively look at our week. So so lots of printing and lots of everything. So we are diving into day 2 of our Chicago trip. Here we go. I'm like, everything is buried. Everything is buried. Hold on. Okay, so we are here with the Chicago trip. I'm really hoping I fit everything in this album. So I left off, so there's the start of next year. Anyways, left off on day 1, guys. This was all of day 1. Day 1 was a lot. Day 2 is a lot. Day 3 isn't so much. And day 4 definitely isn't a lot. So I think once we get through day 1 and day 2, we'll be okay. But we'll see. Okay, so the first 2 things that we did in the day was going to the Starbucks Reserve, and which is like I think the largest Starbucks. It's 5 floors, all that kind of stuff. So we have a bit there. I already did, like I said, I've done a ton in Photoshop, including using in a Creative Bubbles, one of her travel kits, which is where most of like my cards are coming from now. So this is pretty quick on putting this together. I have a little insert here, and then 1 3x4 page. And then we move into one of the hits of the day. I think this was between this and the McDonald's trip that we made. But there was tons of pictures to be had in this. Oh yeah, I was going to put an embellishment here, so I'm going to have to stop and do that too. That's the only thing sometimes I'm always like going between digital and physical kits. Like, I love digital kits because obviously, like, I've turned all of like these type of embellishments to match, and I probably wouldn't have had that. But like when I forget something, like I have to stop, find it on my computer, print it out, all that kind of stuff. So like I said, it is a little bit, and now that I've done this on my computer, I don't know exactly how I have this set up. And I need to I think this, okay, which doesn't make sense to me now, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to go through this. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. I am starting. Okay, yeah. So it's going to go here, this, and then the family picture on the back with a journaling piece here. And then I have a 3x4 spot with a 4x6 on this side of us just coming in. And then 3x4 on this side about the hot dog ice cream experience. And then a little 2x4 or 2x2 pocket page that I am going to cut down. I don't think I need the third, one. And then another full page photo of my little guy, because he even matched his outfit to the place. He was so excited. So that is what we're going to work on today. I am, like I said, I'm super excited to start wrapping this one up, as now we've been on a cruise and I need to do that one too. Always so many stories to tell. So, all right, let's get started. All right, guys. So I am excited to start working on this project, as it's a big one. It's a big one. Took tons of pictures during this trip, as I've mentioned before. I think this is part 3 at this point. So I think I did 2 parts for day 1, and now we're on day 2. And you're going to see there's several things that I'm going to go through and do here that I'm going to have to go back and do a couple of extra things in my next one, but we're getting through it. I'm very proud of myself. So, all right, so this page I did put together digitally. This is from the, I think it's called like Wanderlust, from the In Your Creative Bubble. And I love their travel stuff and their cards in general. So I just put a stitch down that just to make it a little bit more texturish. So yes, I have been holding on to this cup for a whole year and then found out that it was just a liner. Who knew it was just a liner? Like, all the other Starbucks cups are not liners. They're straight, like cups. And then I went to go take this one apart and it was just a liner. I'm like, oh my God, I could have been just holding on to the liner instead of holding on to this darn cup for forever. So I was trying to figure out a way to use this cup though, the whole time. And so what I'm going to do is kind of make it like into like almost like a pocket-ish, but I also was going to cut this Starbucks Reserve part out as like almost like a sentiment. I did end up cutting it a little wonky, but I save it and just figure it out. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Pop it up on some foam tape and call it good. I think that is a great way to incorporate, ephemera and all that kind of stuff. So you'll see here that coming up. This is just a big picture of the reserve. Outside this day, it was snowing. Unfortunately, we were like, oh my gosh, it just cannot, we can't get even like a decent warm day, right? So here it is. I wasn't going to use it on the front because the front of the building already said, Starbucks Reserve. So I was like, oh, let me, see that right there. I was like, I could have covered it up, but I didn't really want to cover it up. So I'm like, let me flip it over and put it over here. I thought that maybe it was a little too much just since I had the cup already, but you know what? I just used it. I said, we're not going to think about it too hard, right? So did that. That's an easy peasy way to embellish something and, call it good. So moving on. Next one is, my husband is actually the one that got the coffee, and that is the story that I'm telling here, is that I'm actually the big Starbucks person, and I didn't even get anything. The coffee that is at the Reserve is not the regular Starbucks coffee, and I'm a pretty picky coffee drinker, and it was pretty expensive. It was like, $8-9 for a grande. And I just could not bring myself to get something and then hate it. So my husband ended up getting something, and I actually did end up liking it. So yeah, the whole running joke was that I didn't even get anything from the biggest Starbucks, I think, in the country, and ended up, I think, going down the road to like Dunkin' and getting something before we went to our next spot. It was, my kids probably won't let me live that one down. So maybe when we go back, we are probably going to be going back. Our kids absolutely love this trip. So they've been ready to go back for quite some time already now. All right. So what I'm trying to do here is, like I said, I had already printed out this 3x4 card. So I knew I was kind of using that cup filler as a, kind of like a pocket almost, like really wasn't a pocket because there's no back to it, but it's going to act kind of like a pocket. So I wanted a tab. So I did this, and then I looked down and I was like, oh, I literally just chose the same sentiment that is actually on the card. It is what it is. It's no big deal. So we are just using Avery tabs. I generally, you'll see I have a good little stack of them there. I generally go with the smaller ones. I do believe that Allie uses like the 1 inch or 1.5 inch. No, probably like 1.5 inch. I can't remember. I generally use the smaller ones. I don't like the huge ones. And on top of it, if I can hide that plastic on top of it in between cards, I am. I don't love the look of the plastic. So you'll see me a lot of times hiding my tabs in between 2 pages. Obviously on this card, I can't do that. But yeah, that's that. All right, so I figured that was pretty good. There wasn't much embellishing, but I felt like because I did add the coffee cup liner, that was pretty decent embellishing for me. Putting together large albums like this, I'm definitely going to start doing it differently from now on. I definitely am going to start trying to figure out some type of formula. I know that it kind of makes it a little bit boring and you can't switch things up. I mean, you always can, but whew, not having a formula has just been a little bit tough for me. I forget things that I want to do. Like I put an itinerary in the first day, so I need to go back and put an itinerary for this day. There's just like certain things that aren't falling into place with this album, and it's kind of like tripping me up a little bit. Here I just was using the same font that I used for day 1. Well, day 1 I just used the I for 1 and then was like, oh yeah, there's no numbers. And so I had to go and like try and figure out if there was numbers somewhere else, which I did. I had some in an Ellie's studio one. So all right, so here I am, because in day 1, I did a day 1 tabby. And so I was like, okay, we want to trickle that over here. We're trying to, make some continuity to this thing. And here I am hiding that tab in there. So as you can see, I was like, yep, we're going to hide that because I don't love that plastic. So there we go. This is just a picture of my little guy with the wings and then myself with the wings. I just thought that these were pretty cool, and we had stopped to take pictures here real quick. So I just added both of them, just a nice little insert. Nothing else. I might go back and embellish this. Again, I think at the end, once I get this album put together, I will go back, I feel like, and embellish a little bit more. Like, I printed out a bunch of black circle stickers that I then was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to use those and did not. And I think I will. Right now, I am in total, like, let's get the bulk of this album done. And it's already so thick. And I'm like, I just have like a day and a half left, and let's just get this done. But, there are other things that I'm trying to put in here. I'm trying to include my family's voice more. So I did finally get my oldest to fill out his card, and then I need to get my youngest, to fill out his, and my husband to fill out his. Maybe I'll try and get that done tonight, but something like this, trying to transition from thing to thing is what you kind of have to think about beforehand. And I think at one point I like have it, and then it like for some reason like I get off or something happens and I don't, and then somehow the paper is cut way too small. I don't know, or I don't line it up. It looks like I didn't line this up, and then I'm trying to pull it up, and it's just not working. No, we're not doing that. So then I need to cut it down, which I don't mind cutting it down. Why couldn't I cut this one down? Why did I feel like I couldn't cut this one down? It went on wonky is what I think. I think it went on like crooked. So like I couldn't cut it down because then it would make everything crooked. So I was like, okay, we're going to leave that there. And then we're going to try and find some washi. And I ended up finding some sprinkle washi that went well, because this is us going to the museum ice cream. This was my youngest son's pick for the trip. I allowed each of them to pick something to go and do. My oldest picked Wrigley Field. And so to cover up that white, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I end up getting out, the try and true stash of all the washi, that we all have. And found this perfectly, like, cute pink confetti / sprinkle washi. And I was like, there we go. That'll work. It will work. It will even work on the other side because the other side is pink. Since the building is pink, you'll see here soon that my son even matched the pink. So he was wearing a pink shirt with a pink hat. He was in a very big pink phase at this point too. So this was like his favorite outfit at the time to wear. So all of the pictures, he matches everything. So, but I think that picture was the picture that I was like, it wasn't working out. It was supposed to close everything. And I just didn't have, I don't know. It just got messed up. Anyways, big story here of this place. If you're not familiar with this, is that they have in one room hot dog flavored ice cream, and it literally comes in a bun, and you can put relish on it. And so we knew it was coming into this. They didn't believe it. They didn't believe me, type thing. And then when we got to it, it was all a thing. So, yeah. I also love digitals in this way is because I can recolor so many different things. And as you can see, I recolored an embellishment from the amazing story. No. The awesome story, the kit. There we go. And one from the Explorer that says say yes, because we were saying yes to something that we normally wouldn't, eat. And so I recolored that to the pink to match this part of the album. So definitely that is one thing I love about digitals. There are a lot of things right now that I'm like, should I try and get some, regular embellishments, because I am missing the fact that I can just sit down and craft. But when I was doing that, it just wasn't working out that much. And honestly, I probably just need to go through all of the story kits that I already have, and work from those and see if I can work from that. And then maybe I wish you just would sell the embellishments by themselves, like just the embellishments and not the cards and everything else, just the embellishments. Anyways. Okay. So you just seen me, I cut down a 2x2, transparent, or you know what I mean, page protector. There we go. And I'm putting these small pictures. Like I said, we had 100 million pictures from this event. So I was like, okay, 2x2 is the perfect way to kind of combat this. So I used those labels that I said that I printed out and put those back to back. And then this say yes right here. It was like the perfect, I think. Was it? No, it wasn't. This one wasn't. I had to cut this one out. There was another one that was like the perfect 1.5. I need to remember what hole punches I have and make my embellishments that when I'm not using my silhouette. But, it is what it is. And then put that one up there. I needed some more embellishments. I left it. I might make one of these a shaker. But for right now, I just left it. It's done. The pictures are in there. Again, might come with a story or two on this, but I'm leaving it. So I did use some stamps though, because I am really trying to use my stamps and things that I have physically, because I kind of, when I'm doing all of my digital products or doing my digital projects, I should say, I tend to completely design them on the computer and then forget that like I have stamps that I could be using and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really trying to use that. I used a paper person. I'm going to guess that's a paper person stamp to put our favorite spot or our favorite place. I think that was. And then this one is another paper person. Yeah, this is a paper person from a February kit when I was getting paper person kits. And put love this place on this side. and then it just had a point. So I thought that that worked out well, and that I used some, you know, physical products. I wasn't really happy that it was all circles, but it doesn't really matter. And I just stapled that in place so that it stays. And I'm going to call that good for now. Again, this is a place that probably when my album is done, I'm going to come back and, like I said, make a shaker out of one of these or figure out some embellishments to put in these. And then call it good. Like, it's just a lot of headspace when I'm doing this project, and I just didn't have it. So all right, let's put all of this in the album and see how it's going. So this is day 1, as you can see here. Let's flip to day 2. Don't worry about that week in a life. So here we go. And the placement that I'm going to put it in today is probably not the placement that it's going to stay in forever. Like, I probably am going to add a few things, but for now, this is how it is. And there's that. And then we'll add the big pictures. And then the 2x2, I believe, is where I add here. Oh, yep, the story of... Oh, I missed the story. I must have missed some footage. Because I didn't put that together with you guys. That was the story of the hot dogs. And then, yeah, that's where, like, I have a 3x4, 4x6 page protector that I don't know what I'm going to do with, but we'll figure that out later. Thank you guys all for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Be on the lookout for part 3 or part 2 of day 2. Talk to you soon. Bye.